Hello garden friends, Jersey Shore Lisa from MyNJGarden.com. We're doing garden bed building and readjusting things today because this box, this wooden box of a garden bed is starting to disintegrate. I had built it a few years ago from an old fence panel that had gotten knocked down and broken. A tree fell on them, so I decided to repurpose them. It's cedar fence. It should last a really long time, and it did last a few years, but the corners are starting to disintegrate. And I love these metal garden beds. They're a big thing now. Everybody's using them, and the nice thing is I know they'll last a long time, and I am going to use that. I got one here, and I got another one that's going to look exactly like it to put behind it. But I do fill up my garden beds using Hugelkultur, and I know there's a lot of videos about that out there, but I do use some. Let me show you. There are logs and leaf litter and some compost in there, and I just kind of pile it up and fill up the majority of the volume of the garden bed using that. Both fresh logs and logs that have rotted a bit, and use that for most of the volume, and then I top it off with soil and compost and amendments if needed. But I am going to move that other bed because that's where I want the twin to this bed to go, and that's tricky because there's a lot of material in that bed, and I can't very well just plop a new bed on top of it, so I have to move it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig out the soil from that one and move it into this one, some of it, and I'm going to leave the middle part as it is and just put the new bed over it and fill in around the edges. That's the plan. We'll see how it works. I don't know. I'm winging it. Let's see how I do. This was kind of tricky because I did fill the original wooden box garden bed with Hugelkultur. So there are fairly large logs underneath that soil. And as I was digging them out, I kept bumping into them. So I was picking them up and bringing them over to my fire pit. I did reuse a couple of them to fill in the edges of this bed. Once I put the new garden bed over it, you'll see what it looks like when it's filled up. But there were some fairly large pieces of wood that I had to work around as I was digging this out. Here we go. I've done some work and I've removed the wooden garden bed from around that back bed, and I've dug out a lot of the soil that I think would have been beyond the boundaries of the new bed and added it to this front bed. Now there is some wood that's mixed in with that, so I have to do my best and sift through that top layer that I've added to this garden bed. If I leave wood chips incorporated into that soil without amending it, the first round of whatever I plant in there is going to be lousy because the chips need to decompose, and the microbes that decompose those chips need nitrogen for fuel. So if they need nitrogen, they're going to rob it from the surrounding soil. The plants won't get the nitrogen that they need in order to grow and thrive and produce, and instead those microbes will be working really hard to decompose those wood chips. So I need to sift through that soil on top and remove wood chips from that top layer, as well as make sure that I have enough soil for the new garden bed that's going to go behind it. So let me see if it fits. I'm going to get it now. Outstanding. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Check it out. So now I just need to fill in around this perimeter. And look at that, there's still even some surviving peppers and eggplants in this bed. That's gonna work out beautifully, guys. Success! Well, there we go. We have two identical garden beds, one right in front of the other. I got rid of my old bed that was falling apart. I've filled that up almost completely. You can see here that I had some soil in some large pots around the yard, and I've put that in there. I will make sure over the winter to get my hands on more soil as well as compost and add it to these beds as well. And I think it's going to work out beautifully. Thank you so much for joining me. These are going to be ready to plant in spring. I don't think I'm going to get anything at this point in the year, mid-October, to really produce anything unless I cover them with plastic, which who knows, I might do that too. But I have a greenhouse and I'm kind of focusing working inside the greenhouse this winter. So these guys are getting ready to plant again in spring, and I think it's going to work out great. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you do. Join me for all my garden updates. Talk to you soon. Bye.